I don't have long to go now. Oh, it's not so much the doctors. They just smile and say, oh, you have yours yet. Liars. And I should know. I have a medical degree from St Andrews. No, it's us bloody statisticians. Oh yes, I'm a statistician too. Our figures are irrefutable. You live the sort of life I've led, the sort of problems. You can work out your life expectancy on the fingers of a double amputee. Oh my God, you should see your faces. Not another weird crone who wants to tell us her life story before she shuffles off. How she once loved a fine man before he went away, maybe to war, never came back, and she never loved another. Well, sorry, but no. I don't have long to go. But when I do go, it's going to be interesting, complicated. How do you bury someone who doesn't exist? No name, no date of birth, no family. Everything you've heard of her is ephemeral. You'll be stuck with a body and no idea what to chisel onto the tombstone. It's going to be an insoluble problem for some poor bloody bureaucrat. A body to be disposed of quietly. Digging a hole in the dead of night? There's this little irritation at the back of my brain. Do I really want to be hidden away? Oh, come on, you say. You exist. We can see you standing there. Well, sure. I mean, I'm not a ghost. I mean, I'm not a robot. I'm not some kind of optical illusion. I eat and I breathe and I do everything a human does. I have DNA in a blood group. You could come over here and run your fingers over me. You do, and I will have you for assault. I'm a lawyer too. Oh, what a pleasant fantasy. Oh, where was I? Oh yes, my non-existence. Oh, our college motto. I drink, therefore I am. There is evidence that I once existed. My portrait is in a stained glass window in the Trinity Church. I posed for the artist when I was 16. He said I made a better angel than any girl Raphael ever had. Oh, you can check the Trinity Guidebook. It says, angel modelled by Miss Brenda Wilson. Now, stained glass lasts a hell of a long time. There are some church windows that are over 1,000 years old, so the life expectancy of my portrait is quite good. But me, not so good. There should be a ceremony when you're born. A midwife should be intoning, "Welcome to the world, little one. You are already dying. Your current life expectancy is 85.7 years. But you can ferret through all the official documents. I am not there. You can check the registry of births, marriages and deaths anywhere in the world. No birth or wedding certificate, no mum and dad, no midwife, no intoning. And a death certificate? Does that really matter? Not to me. But I do need to explain to you my most peculiar circumstances. How did a woman who did all these amazing things, influenced all these important people, she changed world history, how did she come to not exist? Clearly, there must have been an instant when I came into being. There must have been some point prior to us meeting here this evening when I materialized. Ooh, what a lovely word, materialized. I must use that more often. If I was never born, then there must have been a point when I materialized. Well, if you'd like to know. 7 girls in the top class of a good school, the magnificent 7, bright as chrome in a Cadillac showroom, young, clever, and indestructible, and daring. We wanted to do outrageous things. Well, isn't that normal for young people? Bored with our respectable vanilla-flavoured middle-class lives, and so we invented an identity. Miss Brenda Wilson. Now, how's that for a respectable middle-class name? And so if you were 16 and you wanted to go and pose in the nude for a stained glass artist, you told him that you were 18 and your name was Brenda. One of us even flew round the world on a rather tatty fake passport in the name of Brenda. She bought it from some slimy git in a back alley, sold it back to him afterwards at a profit. Well, it now had authentic border control stamps. Maybe he sold it on again to some other girl who wanted to be called Brenda. I mean, there could be dozens of them out there. I wonder if the young people of today could get away with that. You know, inventing someone with all the electronic records that the governments have now. Maybe it'd be even easier. Well, you are just a couple of bits in a database. Have you ever noticed that whenever there's a discrepancy between the computer and real life, it's usually the computer that's wrong? They're supposed to catch the bad people. They're so easy to fix if you know how. Oh, and we did know how, even then. Outrageous. We began enrolling this imaginary Brenda into all kinds of classes and clubs, and then one of us would pretend to be her. So, if you already had an honours degree in maths, you could easily sit the exam again the next year, but this time as Brenda, and your qualifications would be authentic from a genuine university. Oh, we became competitive. Who could gain the most amazing qualifications for Brenda? The opportunities were endless. Once she held the lap record for the fastest junior around the Nürburgring. Here's to you, Brenda. She has a doctorate in modern history from Cambridge and one in cosmology from Caltech. Not to mention a master's in economics from Sydney and one in modern literature from the Sorbonne, plus those medical degrees. We were going to put Brenda up for the Nobel Prize in medicine. Well, she'd been the co-author of so many first-rate papers. I think she might have got it as well, if it hadn't been for a fight that broke out between us as to who was going to turn up in Stockholm wearing the posh frock. Happy days. Life was one continuous adventure. There seemed to be at least 3 Brendas doing something fantastic at any one time. And travel. No need now for shonky passports in back alleys. If one of us was in a foreign country, Brenda would mysteriously appear and, using a genuine pilot's license, hire a Cessna Aerobat and then fly it inverted under some bridge or other and then poof, disappear again. Magnificent. Once she even auditioned for a part in a play on Broadway, a part that she was already playing in the West End the very same night. She was everywhere. And with 7 professional and highly qualified ladies ready and willing to provide her with references and alibis, she simply thrived. She was in the papers all the time. We disliked photographers in those days. We all looked reasonably similar, and with the aid of a bottle of hair dye or a wig, we were able to keep her appearance reasonably consistent. But better to avoid the photographers. Oh, but we loved interviews. We were going to change the world. Well, we did. We got submissions into parliamentary inquiries, Twice Brenda was invited to sit on the Prime Minister's Advisory Committee on Education, and her blog changed political views on global warming. We had an amazing time. Oh well. Tempus fugit. We all settled down, married, few children, couple of divorces. Then one day I woke up and I realised that I was totally Brenda. I didn't want to be anyone else. I struggled. I tried to remember the person that I was before with all that respectability. Couldn't do it. My final rebellion. Life is short. I had money. I could do anything. Why stop the fun? The others? Oh, well, they were only ever really pretend part-time Brendas. I was the only true 24-carat gold Brenda. I did slow down a little. Brenda Wilson, the celebrity, became a little more reclusive. 2 tablets per diem, not to be taken with alcohol. Birth. A while ago, it was our annual dinner. The Secret Society of Brendas. We had decided to fly out to that 5-star hotel on the island. Now, 2 of the others had pilot's licenses, but only mine was current. So the plane was booked in Brenda's name. All 7 of us bundled aboard and took off into a beautiful clear night. Well, a plane full of Brendas, the magnificent 7, we couldn't just simply fly to the island. No, it was a matter of honour to do a couple of barrel rolls. Perhaps that final loop started a bit low. You know, judging your height at night over water. When you hit even at a shallow angle, it's not like a seaplane coming to rest, it's like hitting concrete. We were all knocked unconscious, at least I hope we were. There was this fishing boat. They managed to drag me out of the pilot's seat before the plane sank, what was left of it. Oh, they were adamant I was the pilot, therefore I must be Brenda Wilson, so it was on my wristband as the ambulance raced us to the hospital. I discharged myself the next day. There was a brief inquiry, but as I knew many of the people at the top of air safety, my licence was simply endorsed medically unfit to fly, and that was that. They only recovered a couple of the bodies, but there was a magnificent funeral for the magnificent 7. So, you are looking at the last Brenda. No tombstone will be big enough to record all the fabulous things that I have done. Here's to all Brendas everywhere. Last week, I went over to Trinity to have another look at my portrait. A priest came out to tell me all about the stained glass. I couldn't resist confiding that I was the girl in the picture. He insisted on taking my photo with the portrait. Oh, you can still see the likeness in the right light. He agreed to amend the guidebook. It will now read Angel, modelled by the eminent scientist Dr. Brenda Wilson when a young girl. I don't have long to go now. Perhaps I'll go out and do one outrageous last act. Perhaps I'll just disappear. Perhaps my body will be found. Perhaps some journalist will ask, whatever happened to Brenda Wilson? Perhaps. So, my friends, so now you know. And you can sit back and enjoy the sight of a coroner running round and round in circles trying to work out who the hell I am. And if you believe in Brendas, you will not tell. You will simply say, I am the stained glass portrait in the Trinity Church. Cheers.